What up everyone, True here, and can we talk about Metroid Prime 4? Like, I didn't think that game was ever gonna come out the way things were looking, and then we have so much new information. It has this beautiful Switch 2 version, and this new suit. Can we talk about this? This red suit for Samus? Like, oh my god, it's so beautiful. I love the glimpses we've seen, and I'm so excited to see what that's about when Metroid Prime 4 actually does drop. But it got me thinking. I haven't played a lot of Metroid games, and to be honest, there isn't that many. The entire franchise has 17 games total, which is crazy to think about. There are 17 games, and that's including Prime 4, which isn't out yet, the Prime Remaster and Trilogy, which are both just the same games, and the 2 remakes, which, again, that's not that many games for a franchise that defined a genre back in the day. But as I was looking through all these games, I realized there was a lot of Samus's suits and lore and stuff that I just didn't know because, again, I haven't played that much of Metroid. So, I did a lot of research, found all of Samus's designated suits, extra fun facts, and things about them, and I decided that with Metroid Prime 4 on the horizon, I wanted to go back through the history and look at Samus throughout the years and her suits, what they could do, and what was so special about them, and some of the most iconic power suits out there. If you want to see me go more through some video game history, I guess, cover some things I like, I do a ton of that stuff on my channel. I plan on doing a bit more of it, because this is sort of new, not really. But let me know how you guys feel about this in the comments below, and subscribe, because again, more on the way. So now we're going to jump back to Metroid, which came out in 1986 on the Famicom, or 1987 on the NES. This introduced the 2 most iconic suits. The Power Suit, which is just her base suit, and the Varia suit. So the Power Suit, also known as the normal suit, which kept the same appearance until Dread. We'll get to why it's different in that game, but it is her base suit that she uses in almost every game. It has a built-in oxygen tank to make it viable in space and underwater. It's also said to be bound biologically to Samus, so she can't take it off unless she wants to. It greatly enhances all of her abilities as she has a mix of various alien DNA within her. Again, I don't know fully all the Metroid lore, that is not what this video is about, so if you want to see more about that, probably not the video for you. This is more focused on just the suits. It was designed by the Chozo, bird-like ancient race with way too much lore, and there's 2 models of it existing, and one, according to Other M, which I know a lot of people find as a hot topic in the franchise, she got as a teenager. And it's based off of her emotions, and she can't cry, or she has to always be stoic to use it, or whatever. I don't know. The second one, she got much later, and we'll get to it much later. Now, overall, all of the suits basically have the same basic, abilities. Some of them have upgrades locked behind them, but overall, they all do functionally the same thing. Some are just better for certain environments, certain hazards, or, I don't know, they're just cool. Some of them are just straight cool. So, each of the power suits come equipped with beams. Her power beam, charge beam, long beam, ice beam, etc. This is her basic shot that she uses on her arm cannon. All of them have an arm cannon. All of them she just blasts opponents with. It's a gun. She has a gun. It ain't that complicated. She got a gun. She's also equipped with missiles. There's the super missile, storm missile, ice missile. Too many to count. It's just an alternate version of her gun. It can shift into a missile mode and shoot missiles. She's also super athletic and can go roll up into a morph ball. This is something I don't know if she can do outside of the morph ball, or if it's a suit fit. She's flexible. She's very flexible, and she become a ball. There's also upgrades to it, like the Spring Ball, Boost Ball, Spider Ball, Hyper Ball. She can become a ball. That's it. That's what the Morph Ball is. And when she's in the Morph Ball, she has bombs she can use. There's, the Power Bomb, too. They're bombs. Not much to say. They're bombs. They go kaboom. Once we get to the Prime series, we also have visors, like the Combat Visor, Scan Visor, Thermal Visor. These are exclusive to the Prime series, and they basically just give you an interior view of various things in your environment, and it's just how Samus can use her helmet to see things around her. Now, while this should be grouped in with the beams, it's technically separate, so I just kind of threw it here at the end. The grapple beam has a lasso swing, the hyper grapple. Long story short, it's a tether. It's, she has a rope beam and can tether to things and swing like Spider-Man. There's also other extensions to her suits. There's bomb extensions, hold more bombs, missile tanks, health containers, all that. Just generic video game stuff. There's also a ton of other more one-off or only like one-time or two-time appearance. There's like the high jump boots, grant extra jump height, the screw attack, which is in Smash and grants an electric aura around her jump. The speed booster, guess what it does? It boosts her speed. Again, these are more of the things locked behind the forms, and I'm not covering her entire arsenal today, but you can always look that up on like the wikis or something, or just play the games and see them for yourselves. They're all very self-explanatory. A lot of them are just in the names. But again, all the power suits can basically do the same things. Again, some are just locked behind certain things. Some missiles, you might have to get a stronger suit to be able to handle them. Some beams may be too strong for the normal suit. It's little things like that, but nothing too crazy to where I need to specify each and every time. Alright, on to the iconic suit, the Varia suit, also known as the barrier suit. It is the only suit to be in every single game in the franchise. From the original to the most recent, the Varia suit has made an appearance. Hell, the power suit, which is the base form, hasn't, because for some reason, a lot of the 3D games like having the Varia suit be its base. Or other games just have Samus like cameo, and that's the suit she uses. It is the suit in Smash, at that. The design itself has kept mostly the same, but only recently has it had more shakeups, like on the 3DS, where the visor became very angular and sharp, or then Dread adding a lot of white highlights. The Dread suits are very different compared to the rest, as it's a much more recent entry, the last entry as of recording this. So I won't get into that until later in this video about why Dread has what it has, but they do look a bit different. Overall, iconic suit, it is the suit, and again, its appearance has stayed very similar throughout the years, more so just kind of the shapes, specifically the shoulders. That is more of the point of like, oh, should we make it more angular or circular or whatever. The Varia suit itself is just an upgrade to the power suit, it's nothing more than that. It grants damage reduction in the games, extreme heat resistance, cold resistance, protection from parasites and acids. In one game, there's safe blue X absorption, we'll get to the X later, and sometimes a bit of a speed buff. It is just your first upgrade in most entries. Following that, we reach Super Metroid. This came out on the SNES in 1994, and we have the Gravity suit, which is typically her final form. It's the last suit she typically gets in most games. It's a purple-violet suit, very beautiful. Except the one time it was just like an aura. Again, it is really just her final form throughout the series. It negates extreme gravity, which is why it's called the Gravity suit, because in a lot of games there's like water, and she can move freely with it. It also has like extra damage reduction, lava immunity, and extreme cold resistance, and like I think it's Dread is the only time that actually comes into play. Now those are the more iconic ones and the ones that are reoccurring in the series. The rest of these are basically one-offs per the game they show up in. There are kind of exceptions, and they're very specific, but we'll get to them when we get to them. So now we're going to jump to Metroid Prime, because it released the same day as Fusion, so I just picked the one that I feel like more people want to hear about first. So in Metroid Prime, you have the Phazon suit. It is exclusive to the Prime series, and the final suit you acquire in Metroid Prime 1. This prevents blue Phazon radiation. Phazon is this like energy source. I don't know if it appears in the other ones, but it's very important to the story of Metroid Prime, and it's just this energy. It is just an energy source, it's very important. This suit also grants a hyper mode. It gives a blue aura around Samus and the Phazon beam. It's a very powerful beam, exclusive to this hyper mode and the Phazon suit. This suit is the result of the power suit itself getting corrupted by Phazon over the events of the game, specifically after defeating the Omega Pirates, one of the bosses. It was lost after defeat of the Metroid Prime roll credits, which used said soul and suit after that boss fight to become Dark Samus. That is right, I thought this was the coolest thing finding this out, because I've never played Metroid Prime. I know, heresy. Dark Samus is the combination of the final boss of the first game and the suit Samus wore to defeat said boss. I think that is one of the coolest world building and storytelling things for an enemy I have ever heard of in gaming. That is awesome. And the fact that Dark Samus has become so iconic that it got into Smash, yeah, that's awesome. Phazon suit is so cool now to me, even though I think it probably looks the worst. Now, hopping over to the GBA with technically Metroid 4, we have Metroid fusion. With the fusion suit, thanks to our 2002 GBA game. Now, the fusion suit itself is just an altered power suit. It's not anything crazy. It is quite literally the power suit, but different. Why, you may ask? Well, after being attacked by the X-Parasites from just a break-in in like the lab Samus was in, doctors treated her using a Metroid vaccine created from a baby Metroid that she bonded with in previous entries. The vaccine saved her life from the parasite that was invading her body, and it kind of created the suit as well, because the suit, as previously mentioned, is like fused with her, sorta. Later, it reformed into a more normal version of the power suit, and that's why the suits in Dread look so different, is it's actually furthering the connection between the Metroid DNA and Samus's body and the suit merging with her. The fusion suit itself is actually taken apart bits from the power suit, as it was kind of needed for Samus' survival. Again, mechanically, it is just the power suit, not too crazy. It is weaker, though, technically, as it is much more organic and less armor-based compared to the normal power suit, and the Metroid DNA has a big weakness being ice, which has now been applied to Samus because she's now part Metroid with the DNA. The upside of this is because of said DNA, she can also freely absorb X, this parasite that has gone around copying things and killing things. It is, well, the Metroid is the name of the franchise. In the world, Metroids were designed to eat X, this parasite that kind of just takes over everything. It is this, I believe, self-reproducing parasite that takes on things as host, and they're very deadly. Metroids were designed to eat them, get rid of them in the universe, but then Samus killed all the Metroids, and is now basically the last one. Now in 2004, we had the first remake in this franchise, which met with Metroid Zero Mission on the GBA, which introduced two suits. You might be thinking, what do you mean two, and why'd you say it like that? First up, we have the fully powered suit, or the legendary power suit. Rewarded after the Ruins test in the game, it's just a replacement of her normal power suit, said to be older, but is stronger. Depending on how you view the canon, this is the power suit that ended up becoming the fusion suit, because I believe in canon, the remakes end up taking priority over the originals. I don't know, I'm no Metroid expert. Also, that does mean there is canonically two power suits. What happens to the old one? I'm pretty sure it's destroyed, or just not in use? I don't. Now, the term fully powered suit actually can be used to reference Samus in any of the entries, as if you max out Samus, saying it's just the fully powered version of the suit makes complete sense. So the name itself is a bit disingenuous, but it is technically another suit, even if in reality it is so difficult to tell the difference between that and just one of the normal ones. But yeah, that is important to the lore, I guess. The other thing introduced in this was the Zero suit. A lot of you probably know this because you're either Gooners or you play Smash. Now, the Zero suit, or just the bodysuit, has appeared in every game since its introduction as what Samus wears underneath. Previously, Samus was shown without her armor before, and those pieces of clothing, if it's like a leotard, or just like a sports bra, whatever the case, they're now called casual wear, and I believe it's not canon that she ever wore them under her suit. Again, the remakes really confused me, but its design is just a skin-tight suit meant to be worn under the power suit. It doesn't really grant any advantages. It's really just what she's meant to wear under the power suit, which she always has on. Because of a combination of the Chozo DNA within her, yes, she has Chozo DNA, as well as the Metro. There's so much within Samus, it's crazy. And her extensive combat training, she's actually more agile in this form because she doesn't have a bulky suit hindering her abilities. The only difference is she takes more damage. She also has a paralyzer. She has a on her just in case she ever was stuck without her suit. And it is a gun. It's just a gun. That's all it is. I also want to point out, well, for people who play Smash, she has these like metal high heels and all that. If you remove the heels, which is, I believe, Smash exclusive, she has built-in heels to the goddamn bodysuit, and I think that's a crime against humanity. Why? Like, that just sounds painful. She physically, no matter what she's wearing, has heels built into it, and that sounds so painful. I can't imagine what that's like. And she's doing backflips and stuff with heels. God, Samus is so cool. Anyway, we're gonna jump over to the 2004 GameCube game, Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, which also introduced two suits, fitting enough. First up, we have the Dark suit. It's the first to upgrade in Metroid Prime 2, protects against the Dark Vapor and damage reduction overall. It's created by the Luminoff? Sure. And it's made to defend against the Dark Aether. Metroid Prime 2 takes place on a planet called Aether. It has this dark and light energy, and the dark energy, of course, is bad. It hurts. So Samus, using what the people there made for her, is basically fighting it off, and that's what is kind of happening here with the dark suit. It also looks pretty sick. Then there's the light suit, the final suit in Prime 2. So what if there's a dark and light energy, and instead of the dark, she used the light one? Mind blown. Anyway, this grants immunity to all the environmental hazards of Aether, and the ability to ride light shafts, aka teleporters. This is a complete fusion of the Luminoff and Chozo technology from both of the suits, and is the ultimate armor meant to fight the Ing, whatever that is, it was on the wiki, and Dark Aether as well. It's powered by the light of Aether, and using it to fully defeat the Dark Aether and have it disappear by the end of the game, Samus returns the light of Aether, losing the suit in the process, as that's what it was powered by. So it returned back to the Varia suit, and roll credits. A couple years later, in 2007, the Wii gave us Metroid Prime 3 Corruption with something, this is a complicated one. The Phazon Enhancement Suit, shortened to the PED suit because no one wants to read all those words at once. It's the only suit of the franchise that changes throughout the game on its own due to the Phazon corruption that is affecting basically everyone in this game. I'm pretty sure all of the characters that are at least named or have importance have Phazon corruption in this game. Again, Phazon, this energy source, it's very bad. Dark Samus, full of it, gave it to people. Basically, it's COVID. This suit also has its own hyper mode capable of using the Phazon for attacks recovery. In the worlds, it was designed by the Galactic Federation in combination with the Chozo tech of her original suit. After the bounty hunters that were in the game were corrupted with Phazon, it was made to safely counter and use it. After the planet Phase was destroyed, all the Phazon in Samus's body disappeared, and once escaping fully, all of the upgrades that it seemed to come with vanished, and her suit became back to the standard Varia suit. Now, not technically a suit, but it's in the conversation of it. The Hazard Shield. It is an upgrade for the PED suit, similar to how the Varia suit is an upgrade for the base power suit. The only difference is it's not a suit. It's a suit enhancement. That's all it is, but there's enough to talk about here. It negates more environmental hazards in the game itself, but in the lore, it is a space pirate technology. Now, the space pirates is Ridley, and basically Samus's main rival throughout the games. The space pirates are, well, they're space pirates. They're bad people, monsters, and I'm pretty sure canonically killed Samus's parents. So yeah, there's a bit of a vendetta. It's used to protect themselves from their home world, as it's a very rough and dangerous planet. Samus used it, combined with the suit. It grants very minor cosmetic changes, but it's still a difference. And I believe it's the final upgrade in the game. Or not the final upgrade, but like, important one. Now, we wouldn't see another suit for a long time, because Metroid Prime 3 came out in 2007. We're gonna skip to 2021 with Metroid Dread. Obviously, I previously mentioned this before, as all the suits in this game had a big difference following the events of Metroid Fusion, but there is one unique suit, the Metroid suit. It is the final suit in Dread, given to you at the very end of the game. It's basically your last hurrah moment, and it grants the Hyper Beam, which insta-kills all enemies. This suit is sick. I think this is one of the coolest things. Now, it is actually built up throughout the game, and if you go into the game like me, who played it, you don't really expect the Metroid suit, but you realize it has been built up throughout the game, throughout the story, and I think it's really sick once you like piece it together. But in the lore, what happens is, from the tension of the final battle against Ravenbeak and the ongoing awakening of the Metroid DNA within her, she can no longer control it, and it fully merges with her, along with the suit, which itself is merged with her, fully taking over, creating the Metroid suit, which is a lot more organic, because it is basically the literally last living Metroid ever is now Samus. At the very end of the game, in like the last scene, one last bit of X she absorbed was able to nullify all that Metroid DNA that was basically going crazy, destabilizing her, and put her back to the gravity suit, calming her down, and allowing her to escape once and for all, ending off Metroid Dread. And I guess I'll talk about it one more time. The beautiful suit that we got teased in Metroid Prime 4. I'm assuming it has something to do with her new psychic abilities. Also, I just want to point out that I know a lot of people don't throw Samus into the conversation of like strong characters or something. After looking at what she's accomplished and or the general insanity that is her biology, I'm pretty sure she's up there in terms of power scaling, because my god. Samus is awesome, and I've always really liked the idea of the Metroid games, and having actually gotten the chance to play a few of them now, yeah, it's a great franchise. I love these games. I'm super excited for Prime 4, even though I still have yet to play any of the Prime games. It's gonna be fun hopping into that story. Anyway, I want to thank you all so much for watching this far. It was really fun looking into more of Metroid, because this is probably, besides Fire Emblem, like the Nintendo franchise, I know the least about, even though I've actually played some of these games. If you want to see me cover even more Nintendo stuff, of course, you can check out more videos. I have a ton, and more on the way, so make sure you stay tuned by subscribing, maybe even hitting the notification bell. And with that, I'm going to wish you all a lovely day.